Today we want to kick off a new Latin Hispanic item. That a couple weeks ago we had Pepe Toro on our sales meeting, focusing on the Contigo brand and what the Contigo brand brings to us and to our Hispanic customers. And we're going to stay with that commitment and finding the right items for you guys to sell to your Hispanic Latin customers. And we're going to stay with the Contigo label. We brought in a new Contigo whole peel tomato. As Pepe pointed out last sales meeting, Contigo stands for with you in Spanish. So we want to get items in here that your customers are going to stick with and stay with as well under that same theme. Tammy secured a few containers, a couple truckloads of this item for us at a great price. SRC for you guys is $16.31 on the street, so very competitive pricing. And today we're gonna go over how you do a simple tomato cutting, how the difference between the different growing regions and where you want to focus on this product on the streets. When you're doing tomato cutting, you want to make sure you want to have a white bowl or a white pan, just so the customer can see the color. They can see that a lot better if you have a white container or tray. When you're looking at ingredients, most canned tomatoes have calcium chloride, which is a firming agent, and citric acid as a preservative. There is a few that are of the organics and with the cleaner label, but most of them will have the calcium chloride and citric acid in them. So again, when you're looking at tomatoes, you just want to pour it out in a tray. With the white container, you can look at the color. You can compare the colors with what they're currently using. The Contigo brand, Contigo tomato, is a Midwestern tomato. So you have different growing regions. The most popular ones are Midwestern, and then you have your California tomato, and then in the San Marzino area in Italy, you have your Italy imported tomatoes. So when you're doing your cuttings, you want to look at the juice. The main attributes you want to look at is definitely the color, first of all. Texture. When you taste it, you want to look at the acidity level, and then the negative things that you want to point out if you see them on their current product is if there's broken tomatoes, if there's peels or cores or yellow or green tomatoes, you want to point that out as well. But you just want to take them out on a tray and then count them. All on this Contigo, very uniform product. Only have one broken tomato in the whole can. The juice is seed-free, which is a nice advantage to make your sauce. They want to use this to make their sauce with. Very uniform in appearance, and the less breakage you have, the better flavor it's going to have. So that's the attributes you want to look at. Most cans are lined. Some you'll be able to see will have a thicker lining in them, but that's also helps from getting the metal taste out of your tomatoes when they go through the cooking process. Things that affect the color or how it's processed. The time it takes from the field to the canning is usually 4 hours. Also, how they peel it. Some manufacturers use a lye chemical peel that eats off the peel. Contigo, our tomatoes are peeled with a machine that steams it and then goes over and slices it off after it's steamed. We want to compare these new Contigo tomatoes with our lineup of tomatoes that we have in stock underneath our Ebrand. So if you're selling the Bountiful Harvest, you can definitely convert to the new Contigo item. You can take a look at this. This is a very high quality. It's a Midwestern tomato as well, Bountiful Harvest. So you can see here a little more broken pieces. The drain weight on these tomatoes is 64 ounces, so 4 pounds is what your tomatoes want to weigh after you take them out of the juice. But again, not as uniform in size. We got some broken pieces here, but other than that, the color looks good. And comparing the price for Midwestern tomatoes, $16.31 on the new Contigo compared to $21.50 on your current Bountiful Harvest. So you can feel confident about converting your customers out to our new Ebrand Contigo. Other tomatoes that you're going to run against is the most popular, especially in the Italian world, is California tomatoes in our market, and we have a couple Assoluti products. California tomatoes, we have 2 Assoluti whole peels and a canned Assoluti, as well as a pouch. Pouches are becoming more popular in the food service industry because you don't have to deal with the metal, recycling the metal, and all the hazards of cutting the staff cutting in their fingers and stuff. So we have a California tomato here, Assoluti. Again, the color, the golden red color is the quality you want to, or the color you want to be looking for in a high quality tomato. That shows it hasn't been processed very high heat, probably 165 to get this color. With the bag, it's easier to get to that fast. It's called a fast or a cold break to get that in the bag. Using a can, you have to go a little bit higher to 200 degrees to get that canning process preserved in a can. So little nice color on these California tomatoes. The Pancone is another California tomato. Some of the Pancone labels are imported as well. If your customers, these 2 California tomatoes, they go up. If your customer is using Stanislaus, if they're using Escalon from Heinz, Angela Mia, this is where you want to take these California tomatoes. So great color, a little breakage on this. SRC price on these 2, $19.38 on the Assoluti. The pouches are a little bit cheaper, $18.61 for Assoluti in the pouch pack, and the Pancone is $22.10 is SRC. And then I wanted to show you and compare one Italian. This would go against the San Marzino tomatoes from Italy. This is imported. You can see the cans are heavily lined since they travel a little bit farther to get to us to keep that flavor and the metal taste out. And these are in a nice, thick, rich sauce. Very uniform in shape. A nice, soft, velvety texture to them. And the California and Italy's are going to be a lot more sweeter, less acidic, more for Italian sauces, where the Midwestern tomatoes, they'll work better with your salsas and for the Hispanic category with the heavier acid levels. Again, this would go against San Marzino imported Italian tomatoes. Okay, when you get done with your cutting, you want to weigh your tomatoes, or first you want to taste them, compare what your customer is using. And then you want to weigh out your tomatoes. You're looking for a 64-ounce drain weight, and then you also want to compare your liquids. Also weigh that and see how thick, and also taste the liquids. Make sure it's going to fit within their application and their sauces. Be careful if you do have a Hispanic account already using a California tomato, one of our Assoluti. Make sure before you can convert them to a less expensive tomato, if they prefer a certain taste in their salsa and their sauces using a California tomato, there will be a big difference in using a Midwestern tomato. So be careful on converting our existing e-branded business. You want to use these Contigo tomatoes to go after new business that you don't have, new customers, and get out and with this hot price and secure some new business, new customers for you. If you have any questions, get a hold of me with samples. I'll help you do cuttings and presentations for your customers. Thanks.